Arnab Goswami on the debate at 10. Presented by Reliance Jio. Powered by RP Sanjeev Goenka Group, Ravin and Kentaro. In style partner, Raymond.
Ladies and gentlemen, leading members of the Lutyens lobby are working overtime. They are furiously writing opinion pieces in the Western media to somehow desperately spread the Islamophobia lie pushed by the incompetent, dummy Pakistani Prime Minister and a small, irrelevant group, part of the 57-member Organization of Islamic Cooperation. Now, it can't be coincidence, can it, that the pseudos leading this motivated ISI-backed campaign are the same ones who have been called out for their hypocrisy on the blood-curdling mob lynching of Hindu monks in Palghar. Let's debate.
What happened with Hindu monks in Maharashtra's Palghar district on the night of 16th of April has scarred the conscience of the nation. Each video revealing the extent of brutality, a blot on the police under the Sena, NCP and Congress government in Maharashtra. Watch how there are at least 6 policemen on the spot. And when the violent mob mercilessly attacked the sadhus, the cops let them die. At one moment, one cop even pushed the old, helpless man. So when the demand for justice and accountability is getting louder, strategically the pseudo-liberal Lutyens lobby that exposed its bias while covering the Palghar story has now lapped up Pakistan's and OIC's motivated Islamophobia narrative against India. They're even going after the Minority Affairs Minister for this detailed counter.
देखिए, भारत अल्पसंख्यकों के लिए, मुसलमानों के लिए स्वर्ग है। उनके सामाजिक, आर्थिक, धार्मिक अधिकार किसी भी देश से ज़्यादा पुख्ता हैं, मजबूत हैं।
While social media trolls are trending the hashtag called Islamophobia in India, giving them oxygen are leading members of the lobby and the Lutyens media. Some booked for spreading fake news have written articles in the Western media claiming that the coronavirus outbreak has allowed authoritarianism and anti-Muslim sentiment to flourish. It's ironical when they write long pieces to say how fake news is being spread to demonize Muslims. Caught on the back foot for their hypocrisy in the Palghar case, they seem to have joined hands with Pakistan and the Organization of Islamic Cooperation to malign India. So here are some questions they must answer tonight. Is the lobby spreading the Islamophobia lie to divert attention from the Palghar case? Is the lobby joining hands with Pakistan and OIC to malign the nation? Is the lobby deliberately pushing the Islamophobia narrative because it has been called out on Palghar? Is it true or not that leading members of the lobby spread fake news about Hindu-Muslim wards and didn't apologize when the story was called fake? And they're silent on Palghar but are pushing the Islamophobia angle aggressively What's the real agenda? Let's debate.
Thank you. Viewers, I'd like to welcome Sardar R.P. Singh of the BJP, Anand Ranganathan, Zafar Sareshwala, Salman Chishti of the Gaddi Nasheed Moinuddin Chishti Shrine in Ajmer, Aftab Ahmad Khan, former IGP of the CRPF. So we have a very good panel on one side. We have a strong panel on the other side as well. Tanveer Ahmad of the JDS, Maulana Saeed-ul Qadri from Hyderabad. We have Danish Qureshi, and Rahul Singh is a senior journalist. Chetan Singh is joining me tonight. So thank you very much. It's a balanced panel. I first would like to tell you about a couple of things that intrigue me. The Hindu, a newspaper, has put out an article which says Islamophobia is rising in India, says the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. Now, I find this very surprising what they have put out, and let me tell you why. It is not the OIC. It is just one body created by OIC called the Independent Permanent Human Rights Commission, which is under OIC, which has made the claim. So this headline in the Hindu intrigued me greatly, Anand, because it would give an impression that the entire OIC came together to say that Islamophobia is rising in India. Maybe bad sub-editing, but maybe not so. You know, why is one trying to create an impression, Anand? I start with you, that everybody in the world believes Islamophobia is rising in India. Let's start with you, Anand, and maybe Rahul Singh can respond as a journalist to that. Anand and Rahul.
Yeah, it's good evening. Good evening, Arnab. You know, it is absolutely, it's a sham. And, you know, to say that OIC is indicting others for religious intolerance, you know, it believes as much in religious tolerance as Hafiz Saeed believes in ahimsa or Osama bin Laden believes in peace. What are they talking about? Do you know that 13 of these Islamic countries, being an atheist, carries a death penalty? These are the people who are going to tell us what religious tolerance is? And what is this constant victim about Islamophobia? Do they know that sure there is discrimination, but every community in India is discriminated against and also discriminates. The victim today is perpetrator tomorrow. We have all seen the stories during the CAA and NRC protests, how much of religious intolerance we saw from the Muslim community. We have seen during the this ongoing corona epidemic, how much of religious intolerance we have seen. We have seen the atrocities against Dalits by the Muslim community. Sure, there are atrocities committed on the Muslim community as there are against on the Hindu community, on the Dalit community. But when for the last 6 years you constantly highlight only one kind of atrocity, only against one kind of community, this is what it leads to. And this has to be stopped. Because as far as I'm concerned, the real Islamophobia is shown by the Islam, the people who follow
my
Islam.
question here is, Anand, I'll come back to you on this point, but let's get a response. You see, first let's look at the way in which this whole Islamophobia thing has been constructed. The construction is interesting. Rahul, the Scroll is apparently a website. It says, now that the world has spotted Hindutva bigotry, Modi insists that coronavirus does not see religion. Did Narendra Modi ever say that coronavirus sees religion? Bunkum. Bunkum. But what's worse, Rahul, shameless bunkum. And this 19 days ago, much before this Islamophobia narrative was created by Pakistan and loyally followed by the Indian sycophants of the Pakistanis and our Mir Jafars at home, what had the Prime Minister said, Rahul? He said that in order to preserve our faith, our community, and our ideology, we have to defeat coronavirus first. Today, the need is for people of all faiths and ideologies to unite and defeat the coronavirus. That's what the Prime Minister said. But these bunkum artists, tell me, Rahul, have they really lost all sense of shame?
No, can I say something? I'm not part of any lobby. All I want to say is that we must be concerned if a large number of Islamic countries are concerned about the Muslims in this country. Remember, we are the third largest Muslim country in the world after Indonesia and Bangladesh. That's, I think, the numbers. We must be concerned that other Islamic countries are bothered about how Muslims are being treated
Rahul,
in India.
Rahul, just a minute. I'd like Salman Chishti to come in. Everyone's on. I just like to explain to people what you're saying. What you're trying to say is that we must be concerned if a few people have started believing the lie that the Mir Jafars in India are constructing.
Not a few people. A few people.
But you're basically... No, you believe that there is Islamophobia in India. Do you believe there is Islamophobia in India? Do you believe?
Yes, I do believe.
You believe? Okay, great.
I believe it, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because
they are being forced to. No, 1 second, Anand. The response is from Salman Chishti, please. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
I will tell you why, because it's been building up to this. There have been lynchings, there have been people stopped on the road because they might be carrying beef. There's been a whole series of events that have made
which series of events, please? Which series of events?
There's a feeling of intolerance.
May I tell you?
There's a feeling of lynching.
I'll tell you, sir.
You can't deny the lynching.
I'll tell you one thing, sir.
You can't deny that.
Now, let me tell you, Rahul, there is nobody better than Salman Chishti of the Ajmer Sharif Dargah to respond to you. But before he responds, let me also tell you about the sequence of events. Viewers, there is a joint venture between the Pakistanis, the ISI, and a group of people who are on their payrolls in India. And let me tell you how they've constructed this. Lobby says one thing, Pakistan says one thing, and there is an end result. Example 1. 17th April, Arundhati Roy says, look at the way in which they are using COVID. It is like typhus was used against the Jews to ghettoize them and stigmatize them. Immediately after 48 hours, Imran Khan says, same language. Just look at the language, Salman Chishti. He says, the deliberate and violent targeting of Muslims in India by the Modi government to divert a backlash on COVID, which has left thousands stranded and hungry, is what Nazis did to Jews in Germany. Where was the violence here? The only violence, I think, was from the Tablighi Jamaat, which unleashed COVID in such a way that 4,500 people in India got infected. The point is, I've just proven example 1, Salman, that there is a common script between Arundhati Roy and Pakistan. And their idea is we will repeat a lie 1,000 times.
No, she's in the payroll.
And we will hope that it becomes the truth.
Is she in the payroll of Pakistan?
It's a matter of investigation. It's a matter to be investigated still.
Yeah, it's investigated.
Salman Chishti will respond to you, sir. Salman Chishti will respond to you. Mr. Aftab Ahmad Khan, I'm just coming to you in a minute.
Some people might like to investigate you also.
Well, I'm happy and open to all kinds of investigation. Would you like to investigate me? Yeah, please. I'm happy. Would you like to? You want to come now or after lockdown?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Now, Salman Chishti, please. Yeah.
No, all I'm saying is these kind of
Salman Chishti
are not.
Salman Chishti.
Don't dignify you at all.
Audio is not good, Salman. Salman, you'll have to pick up your phone. I'll have to speak to you on a phone line. Your audio is bad, so.
Hello.
Yeah, I'll try and get you on a. Can you speak up now? Salman. Can you just pick up the phone and speak like a normal phone call? Yeah, it will be much clearer then. Okay, so we'll get the audio back with him. RP Singh wanted to respond, but before that, Aftab Ahmed Khan, former IGP of the CRPF. Mr. Aftab Ahmed Khan, I've given the first example. What do you think? Is a careful construct being created here to give an impression of India as an Islamophobic country?
Mr. Arnab Goswami, Islamophobia and all these latest terms are always devised whenever there is such problem or any problem like that. A common Indian Muslim or common Indian does not understand what is Islamophobia. This Islamophobia is only in the mind of the people who are literate and who trying to guide or misguide the people. Common people who doesn't have 2 square meals to eat, he is least bothered about the Islamophobia. And for your information, right from the day one after our partition and our freedom, the Pakistan had been a great disgrace for our Indian Muslims. And all these OPEC countries who are trying to support us from outside today are doing a hoax. What they are doing for us, the Indian people serving in these countries are paid the lowest salaries. And now lakhs and lakhs of people are being sent out and thrown out. You can check up in Kerala and you can check up in your UP and Bihar. The treatment the Indian Muslims are getting in these countries is not hidden. So it is a lip service, and I strongly object that even such type of lip service should be taken seriously at all in India.
Yeah.
India is doing whatever it could do for the Indian Muslims or the minorities. We do not require any support from anybody.
Yeah.
In the name of Pakistan, we have been butchered unnecessarily.
Absolutely.
Pakistan, what they can do to us? What way they can help to us? It is all rubbish.
Absolutely right.
No OPEC.
No, 1 minute, Tanveer. Tanveer, hear him. No, Tanveer, what do you have a problem hearing him? You have a problem hearing him? Now listen, Tanveer. Before you come up with your prepared speech, let me tell you, it's not like we don't know. But what has happened in the past, Tanveer, is that we have known people who talk about Islamophobia in India, and we in the largeness of our heart, don't we viewers, we forgive them. But now we've decided we will not forgive. Am I correct, Anand? We must name and shame these people every day. 1 minute. Don't take my name in vain. Everyone's on the screen. Wait a minute. I'll complete my point and then I'll come to you.
I'd like to ask.
No, 1 minute. Anand, an example.
I'd like to ask.
On 18th April.
He's just trying to save his own ministerial seat at this given point of time.
Yeah, Chetan, I'll just let me make my point.
There is no point talking about Naqvi. When Shaheen Bagh was taking place, what Naqvi was doing? He was just with his pillow in his own room. Why he has not gone to that ground zero and spoken to the people?
Shaheen Bagh was a circus. Shaheen Bagh was a circus, and I think I'm so glad that so many Indians did not want to join the circus. The circus is over. The circus is over. Move on. The circus. Shaheen Bagh was a circus. A paid circus. It's over. I feel sorry for you that it didn't work for you. Now move on. Now Salman Chishti is on the debate. Salman Chishti is on the debate with Tanveer. 1 minute, please. Salman Chishti with Mr. Qadri are on the debate right now. Now hear me, please. On 18th, now you see, I believe that Twitter. Before you come in, Tanveer.
Make one point, Arnab.
Tanveer, 1 minute. Tell me one thing. Is there Islamophobia in India, Tanveer?
Arnab,
is there Islamophobia in India, Tanveer?
Just tell you, OIC is absolutely nobody. Pakistan. Arnab, I'll answer it. No,
I want, no, 1 minute. It doesn't work. No, you have to answer my question. You have to answer my question. You don't answer my question, you're off. You don't answer my question. I'm giving you a clear 3 choices right now. I'm giving you 3 choices right now, Tanveer. Listen to my question. My question is there Islamophobia in India? Option 1, yes. Option 2, no. Option 3, can't say.
But Arnab, I would tell you there is no Islamophobia, but there are Islam haters. I think Pir Saab and Zafar Sareshwala and the IG should have heard Mr. Anand Ranganathan, who clearly said in your show, if there is any problem, the problem is Islam itself. He said that, Arnab. Is it not part of the Islamophobia? Islam haters?
It's absolutely 1 minute. Now let me tell you one thing. No, it's not between you and Anand. The debate is right now between Mr. Qadri and Salman Chishti. Now, Mr. Qadri and Salman Chishti, let me tell you one thing.
Islamophobia is
1 minute, Mr. Qadri.
People in India.
Mr. Qadri, is there Islamophobia in India? Option 1, yes. Option 2, no. Option 3, Qadri. Yes.
It is there in some people's mind, yes.
Okay, then tell me one thing. Why is it that on the 3rd of April, Qadri, listen to me. Why is it that on the 3rd of April, the Darul Uloom Farangi Mahal's Maulana Khalid was forced to appeal to the Tablighi Markaz attendees, saying that the testing and treatment for coronavirus is a must for all. It is a crime to hide such a thing. I have been saying the same thing. Salman Chishti has been saying the same thing. Are any of us Islamophobic? No, because we raised questions on the Tablighi Jamaat, does that make us Islamophobic? My straight question. No, 1 second. Listen, Qadri, listen. I repeat the question. I have raised 100 questions on Maulana Saad, on the Tablighi Jamaat, and how they have infected 4,500 people in my country and contributed about 30% of the number of cases, and how the Tablighi Jamaat has carried out the most despicable crime, and it is an act of cowardice that the person now running from the law with expensive lawyers has carried out a crime and sent foreigners violating visa rules to different parts of the country, and states like Tamil Nadu and Assam, which would have had no COVID cases, are now struggling to bring the number down. Now, I have said all of this, Mr. Qadri. My question to you is, because I have said all of this, am I Islamophobic?
I would like to start from the, ambassador.
Answer my question.
I will
answer my question, man, please.
Man, please listen. Ambassador Kapoor of UAE has written this tweet, and he has said that Indian nationals in the UAE should always remember this, that India and UAE share the value of non-discrimination. I will appreciate Ambassador Kapoor for his, correct.
I'm sorry, but please tell me. No, 1 minute. Qadri, 1 second. Now get it straight in your head that when I question the Tablighi Jamaat is not the custodian of India-UAE relations. Are you out of your mind? What does the Tablighi Jamaat have to do with the UAE-India relations? What does the Tablighi Jamaat have to do with your relations with UAE? Tell me.
You are living.
Are you blackmailing me? Are you blackmailing me? Are you saying to me tonight that if you question Maulana Saad, our relationship with UAE will go down the drain? Are you saying that? Are you saying that? Our viewers, I need an answer to this. I need an answer to this. You are saying to me tonight, you are trying to use diplomatic blackmail with me on my program. You are saying that if we question the criminal activities of Maulana Saad, we will compromise our relationship with UAE. How can you, as a citizen of India carrying an Indian passport, you are trying to blackmail the people of India that our relationship with UAE will go down the drain if we question the Tablighi Jamaat? I'm sorry. I don't think I'm bringing a bad name. I don't think. Salman Chishti, are you bringing a bad name to your country by questioning the Tablighi Jamaat? And do you think there is an attempt at blackmail going on here? You sit in India, you want to blackmail India that our relationship with UAE and other Muslim nations will be affected if we question why the Tablighi Jamaat spread the coronavirus in India? Viewers, this is unbelievable. This is unbelievable.
It's quite unfortunate.
Salman Chishti.
It's unfortunate that the whole debate and discussions are turning out towards, we are all together in facing a pandemic globally, and India has been doing its best efforts to bring down this crisis and save all Indians, let alone any particular community or organization or anything. And this is I, coming from Ajmer Sharif and having represented India in more than 65 countries in last 10 years, I can clearly say this, that how proudly we have been representing India in many countries, including a majority of the Middle Eastern countries today, that we're seeing some of the tweets of some princes have tweeted about some random person tweeting about the situation. So we have to be we have to make it very clear that no random tweets, no random organizations whatsoever represent what India has stood for, not from now, for the thousands of years. And the world acknowledges this. We have been representing in different conferences of interfaith dialogue, representing Ajmer Sharif in Sufi forums. We have invited the world to Delhi in World Sufi Forum, where there were 200 international delegates from all over the world, including Middle East. And they all saw it, they experienced it themselves, what Indian hospitality is all about. Now coming back to this whole questioning about the larger section of Indian Muslims, just because of the act of few, it itself is unjustified. We have talked about Tablighi Jamaat, what they did was wrong. We all requested them. We also, with strict words, asked Maulana Saad to come out and ask his people to go for testing, which they did ultimately. Some of the Maulanas did send out a request. But now we cannot talk about Tablighi Jamaat and bring in the Islamophobia terminology.
Does not represent whole India. But whole India.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Not even 1% of Indians are associated with this organization.
Getting suffered. Milkman is getting suffered.
So we have to make it very, very clear. Absolutely, there is no question about, the second largest Muslim populated country. We proudly say that we are Indian Muslim, and we are the second largest Muslim populated country. And the freedom that the Indian Muslims enjoy is not to be seen in any of the so-called Islamic nations. There are instances which need to be called out. There are instances that need to be called out. And we have been calling them out as per.
Okay, so let's not complicate the discussion. One second. Let's not, Mr. Qadri, I'm trying to go to the nub of your problem. 1 minute, a minute, please, a minute. May I request Tanveer and Safar Sareshwala to come into the debate? I would like to ask either of you that now this Islamophobia argument. By the way, viewers, there is this one certain journalist, and I believe that Twitter is allowing all kinds of anti-India sentiments, lies to be proliferated. A person with a blue tick, I don't consider her a journalist, she's a complete anti-India pamphleteer. She tweets saying, she's circulating articles saying Islamophobia in India is making the coronavirus crisis worse. Communalism is dividing India right when it needs unity. What absolute rubbish. But interestingly, one day before this, Zafar, just one day before this, the Dawn in Pakistan says, in Modi's India, virus fallout inflames divisions between Hindus and Muslims. This is therefore, I believe, a joint venture between the Mir Jafars in India and people in Pakistan to fabricate this Islamophobia thing. Why? Because Shaheen Bagh failed. CA, NPR attempts to create a battle failed. Attempts to create riots in India failed. The fabricated migrant crisis failed. And so now your last card they pulled out is the Islamophobia card. My question to you, Tanveer, is this. That what is being criticized is the criticism of the Tablighi Jamaat Markaz. Now, what is being criticized about the Tablighi Jamaat Markaz? Tell me one thing that you don't agree with me. One, that the Tablighi Jamaat Markaz attendees should not... Listen to me. Why don't you listen? If there's anything that you don't agree with me, raise your hand. First, that the Tablighi Jamaat Markaz members should not be hiding in mosques and madrasas. and they should come out and reveal themselves. Secondly, they should not spit when taken to hospitals for their own treatment. Thirdly, they should not urinate and defecate inside and around the wards where they have been admitted for their own good. Fourth, they should not pass lewd comments and undress themselves to the point of nudity before nursing staff and insist that the nursing staff bring cigarettes for them. If I'm asking all these questions, the nation wants to know, do I become Islamophobic? Tell me, Zafar. Tell me, Tanveer. I am raising these questions. No, everyone's on. Do I become an Islamophobic? Do I become an... Should I say, 1 minute, let me complete, Tanveer. Should I say, please hide, please spit, please urinate, please defecate, please take off your clothes, please hide in madrasas and mosques, and then I will be told that you are pro-Muslim. If I ask these questions, you become anti-Muslim. How bizarre.
There are ignorant people in all communities. Ignorant people in all communities.
Tanveer and Zafar.
Zafar Sareshwala ji or Mr. Khadri who's sitting out there, everybody had said all the people from Tabligh Jamaat to come and get themselves tested. We have told them in harshest words.
No, you didn't answer my question.
Had spoken to them.
You didn't answer my question. I repeat the question.
There are certain
you did not answer the question. You did not answer the question. You did not. What was my question, Tanveer? Tell me what was my question.
I said there is.
I said if you urinate, defecate, run, flee, avoid the authorities, and if I question it, do I become an Islamophobic? That was my question.
No, Arnab, it doesn't make you Islamophobic. It doesn't make you Islamophobic. But there are certain elements who come to your channel every day.
No. Listen, I'm asking you the question. Don't deflect the question. On 11th April. No. I'm asking you 1 minute. Tanveer, 1 minute. I go to Zafar. Zafar, on 11th April, Ramachandra Guha circulates an article. 1 minute. We are not Islamophobic. Our country is the most secular, and I really think that if there are some people in India who think they can blackmail India, I think the larger point, RP Singh, there are some people in India, a minute please, there are some people in India who are thinking today that, oh, Narendra Modi had built great relationships with the Muslim countries, and therefore there is a relationship of dependence between Narendra Modi's India and UAE. Now we will blackmail the government of India by saying that all the lies circulated by Pakistan, supported by us, we will publish these lies in newspapers, in the Gulf regions, in the Middle East, and then we will use this to blackmail our own government. This is the worst kind of treachery that has ever been seen in this country, viewers, and Republic Network is going to be right at the forefront of exposing this treachery. RP. Remember, Tanveer, we are never going to be blackmailed. RP. Thank you.
See, Arnab, you have hit the nail at the right point, and that is that just Palagar happened, and they have to build up a narrative. And all of this happened within the last 3 or 4 days. And what some human right part of some OIC, but they have never uttered a word on Afghanistan, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Iraq, Iran, but how minorities are treated there, what happened to minorities there. And let me remind them, sir, the first decision of this government, which was taken by Modi government, was to provide scholarship to 5 crore minority children. Keep this in mind. And this was the first decision by the second term of the Modi government. I'm not talking about giving equal right to women by triple talaq, which the people who sit here probably doesn't accept that. But I'm not talking about the 100 skill development centers which have been opened by this government. I mean, I'm not talking about 100 crore rupees sanctioned to Aligarh University. I mean, it's not. I'm not talking, but
CAA,
understand.
Even the UN
built up the narrative
talked about it.
Because they didn't utter a word on Palagar. They never uttered a word. None of these Khans or the Siddiquis or none of these who all used to come on your channel every day have not uttered a single word on Palagar. They have not condemned Palagar at all. Neither the people who back them, neither the Congress party, neither other parties have condemned the Palagar. No, they have to build up a narrative to counter that Palagar. And this is the narrative they have to build now.
You see, Tanveer, my question to you is very elementary. At a time when when in India we are doing the right thing by questioning and targeting the Tablighi Jamaat, tell me, Tanveer, and think about this. In India, should we be on India's side or Pakistan's side at this time? You have no choices in this. One choice is on India's side, second choice is Pakistan's side.
There is absolutely no, I don't think you should even question me, Arnab. I don't think you should question me or any Indian, Arnab.
I'm not questioning you. I'm putting a very clear question to all of us tonight. Should we be on India's side or Pakistan's side?
सवाल ही नहीं उठना चाहिए.
आपको नहीं, सबको सवाल पूछ रहा हूँ.
Or to hell with
People like Tanveer. There is a real question. There is a real question mark on people like Tanveer.
Every question cannot be right question, Mr. Goswami.
Yeah.
Tanveer has said that he hates Hinduism.
1 minute.
Tanveer,
Aftab Ahmad Khan. No, please. Aftab Ahmad Khan is responding right now. Aftab Ahmad Khan is responding and he's on the debate with Mr. Qadri. Aftab Ahmad Khan, what were you saying, sir? What were you saying, sir? I missed your point.
I am telling that where is the question of going towards Pakistan? We are Indians and we have been Indians and we will remain Indians. Where is the question that we support Pakistan or we take up that issue?
The question is that Ramachandra Guha, Mr. Aftab Ahmad Khan, Mr. Aftab Ahmad Khan,
Pakistan again and again.
Mr. Aftab Ahmad Khan on 11th April, Ramachandra Guha circulates an article. There are people in India.
Only few foreigners have come. Tablighi Jamaat are from India only.
Yeah.
Whatever is the problem, that is the Indian Muslim problem.
Absolutely, I agree with you.
Why are you unnecessarily telling Pakistan?
Absolutely. Now on 11th April, Ramachandra Guha circulates an article, Zafar Sareshwala, and I'll tell you why, Aftabji, if you care to listen. This question of people who support Pakistan in India is a genuine question, Aftabji. And there are people in India, members of the Lutyens lobby, who support Pakistan. I'll give you one example. Ramachandra Guha circulates an article quoting it and saying, and I quote, India is approaching an especially dangerous point. A right.
world respects him for his work.
I don't call him a historian. I would call him a hagiographer of the Congress party. Now listen to me. The hagiographer of the Congress party circulates an article quoting it and saying, India is approaching an especially dangerous point. A right quantity of unemployed young men, the right kind of populist strongman, and the right level of ignorance and heightened expectations emanating from an imaginary past. Now, same day, this article gets circulated.
Mix up two problems.
This 1 minute, Aftabji, 1 minute. This article gets, allow me to complete my point, Aftabji. This article gets circulated by a Pakistani minister. He's circulating the same article that says India is no longer India on the same day. Now, my question will be, at a time when we are winning the fight against COVID and everyone's on, why are such propaganda pieces being written? Why are they getting the same response by the lobby and Pakistani ministers? Why is the lobby in India and the Pakistani establishment working in exactly the same direction? Is this a conspiracy or a coincidence?
For 6 years, and it is obviously it is not
coming to your basic question. Anandji,
okay, let Zafar speak. Zafar.
Let me complete.
Okay, let Zafar.
Let me complete. Coming to your basic question, please, Mr. Anand Ranganathan, please. Mr. Anand Ranganathan, please let me complete. You have been talking, please.
Zafar and Qadri, go on.
Now,
Zafar and Qadri, please.
Listen to me. Arnab,
Zafar and Qadri, please, thank you.
Question about whether Islamophobia is there in India or not. See, India has more than 200 million Muslims. There are isolated incidents happening in the country. We are not denying that. A few places where vegetable seller or a fruit seller has not been allowed to do his business. These are happening. Such instances need to be called. It has been condemned not only by Muslims, but Hindus. And even you as a channel have taken up. So, India, Muslims are enjoying the same rights,
is exactly the way it's being given to the
Tell me,
Hindus.
Zafar,
Even
tell
now.
me, Zafar, tell me,
Even now,
Zafar, tell me,
in the
Zafar, tell me,
hospital.
Zafar, let me ask you a question. Zafar, let me ask you a question. Zafar ji, let me ask you a question. Just Zafar. Zafar, I'm curious. You travel more to the Middle East and the Gulf countries than I do. You know more about them. I'm curious to ask you a question. If in Dubai or Riyadh, listen to my question. If in Dubai or Riyadh, you were to do the things that some people have done in India, if in Dubai or Riyadh you were to put out the TikTok videos that have gone out in India, if in Dubai or Riyadh you were to spit in inappropriate places, or for that matter, the way in which members of the Tablighi Jamaat have been behaving, hiding from the law and order authorities, tell me, Zafar, you know the law in Dubai and Riyadh. What would happen to those people in Dubai and Riyadh? What would happen to them?
You know, Arnab, they would be put in jails for their life. For the life.
But in India, when we act, why is it called Islamophobia? In India, when we act...
I'm not saying...
No, why do some people run to call it Islamophobia, Qadri?
Islamic haters. There are people who hate Islam. There may be some people who hate Muslims. But to generalize that,
nobody will say like that.
It's happening in India across the board. It is absolute lie. Across the board in the country, there is nothing like Islamophobia. People, if they want to understand what Islamophobia is, you go to Europe, you go to England, you go to America, then you'll understand what Islamophobia is. We don't have remotely the kind of hatred towards Islam which you see in France, in Germany, in Belgium, in England and America. So there are people, yes, there are certain quarters and which have been called. The Prime Minister has come out with a tweet.
What was that thing?
So I think
the entire media
across
was
the board, you
attacking
cannot make it across the board. Yes, there are instances you need to call, but to paint the whole country as if everybody is hating Islam or Muslim is not the case.
What is, 1 minute. Do you want to defame India? Do you want to defame India? You know Ramachandra Guha. And the reason I call him an hagiographer is the following reason. He's part of the lobby. 1 minute, please. 1 minute. Just a minute. Let me explain let me explain. Danish, wait a minute, please. Rahul, can you join the debate with Rahul? May I get Rahul to join the debate with Anand? And Anand, let's remain focused on the issue at hand. You see, I'd give a couple of examples. Raghuram Rajan. His loyalties are with America. He's sitting in Chicago, spreading this fake Islamophobia narrative, and he's saying, we see in India that some allegation that this was a Muslim plot. I mean, that kind of behavior can explode and make it much harder for her communities to get together within her country. First of all, Raghuram Rajan, since you've chosen to live your life in America, why do you want to judge India? Judge the country where you belong to. Secondly, who said it was a Muslim plot? We said that the Tablighi Jamaat Markaz carried out a criminal act which has infected thousands of Indians. None of us are safe from it, including you, Rahul. If I say that, who has ever spoken of a Muslim plot? I challenge Raghuram Rajan on live television today that Raghuram Rajan, if you have any shame, tell me who called it a Muslim plot. You are the one, Raghuram. You, sitting in Chicago, you don't have the courage to take on the American establishment because you are beholden to it. But I want to ask you, Raghuram Rajan, who called it a Muslim plot? And if nobody called it a Muslim plot, if you're the one who constructed the word Muslim plot, then come on bended knee and apologize to the people of India. Except Raghuram Rajan, I don't know anyone else who called it a Muslim plot. Who called it a Muslim plot?
See their modus operandi.
No, I want to know. Rahul, who called it a Muslim plot?
You asked me to come in.
Yeah, Rahul, who called it a Muslim plot? Name a person.
All I'm saying.
No, Rahul, listen. Rahul, listen.
All I'm saying
Rahul,
is
listen. Rahul.
Why? Okay.
Rahul, my question to you is, Anand, may I question Rahul? Rahul, tell me one thing. Rahul, listen.
Why?
Who called it a
Okay,
Muslim
can I-
plot?
Yeah, tell
Who
me.
called it?
Tell
My
me.
question to you, Rahul, is, and I'm
Why?
going very slow
Why?
in this. Who called it a
I
Muslim
don't know.
plot?
I really don't know.
No, the why is Raghuram
No, I
Rajan
really
sitting
don't
in
know.
Chicago and
Why are
spreading
you
this
concentrating
talk about
so
a
much
Muslim
on the
plot?
Tablighi?
They shoot and scoot.
Why should I let go?
No,
Why are you
1 second,
concentrating so
Rahul.
much on
I
Tablighi?
want to ask
There
you.
are-
Do you know?
there
you
are
So
talking
Raghuram
about
lied.
these
people
stories and you're
in
talking
all
about Islamophobia.
communities.
Did you know there is a person called Siraj Ahmed? Do you know in quarantine Siraj Ahmed? First of all, I hope Tanveer apologizes for condemning
My question is,
Hinduism live on
Anand, your and Tanveer's battle I'll go to later. I want to ask you, Salman Chishti, did anybody in India call it a Muslim plot? That's my only question today. Rahul, 1 minute. Rahul is on the debate with Salman Chishti. Raghuram Rajan has said that this is a Muslim plot and this allegation is being made. Who said? Do we know anyone who called it a Muslim plot? Tell me.
We have been calling out from day one that there is nothing, there is no such connotation of entire community or religion when something happened in a markaz. Because neither markaz nor Maulana Saad or whatever his followers call him represent Muslims of India or even any community perspective.
but then
They're
tell
an
me.
organization. They came together and they did a criminal act and they must be held accountable for them.
Right.
And they've been gone into hiding. They're not coming for testing.
I want to know since the very premises, and it's very focused, Rahul, since the very premise of this Islamophobia argument is that there are people in India who are calling it a Muslim plot as alleged by Raghuram Rajan. Who called it a Muslim plot?
I know nothing about what he said.
No, but who called it a Muslim plot?
Ignorant people.
No, but who called it a Muslim plot?
There are ignorant people in all
No, but then say that Raghuram Rajan is ignorant.
In Hindus, Muslims.
Then you must say that Raghuram Rajan lied.
They all defecate.
No, I'm sorry, but who called it a Muslim plot? Tanveer, who called it a Muslim plot?
I have no idea what.
No, but you can say no idea, but you go around everywhere saying Islam. Who called it a Muslim plot, Tanveer?
Let's talk about what kind of...
No, who called it a Muslim plot?
Why do you talk about any kind of a political subject?
I would like to just
for which
say
we may
that
not be having any...
Who called it a Muslim plot, Tanveer? Tanveer, please. Tanveer, who called it a Muslim plot?
Not any person of any significant importance did. No person of any significant importance did.
But then you
there are some certain stray who come and who spew venom against Islam, Muslims. There are certain elements.
No, so for example, let me tell you one thing. Let me ask you.
And I think they have to apologize, and Prime Minister of India should take an account of them. Prime Minister of India should watch them. And I would say Zafar Sareshwalaji, take this message to Prime Minister. You talk to Prime Minister on everyday basis.
Apologize, Tanveer,
people like
for abusing
Anand
Hinduism.
who spread venom against Islam, Muslim
How
on everyday basis.
How dare you abuse
you should be ashamed.
Hinduism?
Exactly, you should be ashamed.
How are you abusing Hinduism on live TV?
That's not the issue. Now I want to go out of this once again, and I'm on the you guys settle your scores elsewhere. I want Zafar to come on the debate. Zafar is on the debate right now. Zafar and Chetan. We must be very reasonable about things. Viewers, if my view on the matter is very simple, viewers. If a Hindu does something illegal, it is illegal. If a Muslim does something illegal, it is illegal. Today, I have absolutely no qualms in saying that if this was not the Tablighi Jamaat Markaz, but a Hindu group which would have carried out a congregation and from there sent its people violating the rules across the country and infected about 5,000 Indians, I would have called out the Hindu group in the same way that I am calling out the Tablighi Jamaat Markaz. And Chetan, let me complete. Chetan.
No, Ahmedabad and Gujarat, in totality 4,000 people are infected. I think Tablighi Jamaat has not contributed in Ahmedabad and also in Gujarat. in Madhya Pradesh. We all know what
Madhya Pradesh, you know exactly what's going on in Bhopal, and I think the Madhya Pradesh Chief Minister was on the program with me, and he squarely blamed the Tablighi Jamaat. Now, you know what happened in Tamil Nadu, you know what happened in Uttar Pradesh, you know what happened in Rajasthan, you know what happened in Assam, so don't fool yourself. My question is not that. See, we need to be a little evolved in our argument now. Zafar, everything wrong that Hindus do cannot be justified saying you can't target Hindus. 1 minute. May I? Now, Chetan, you know, Chetan, please. You can't say if a Hindu does something wrong. If I do something wrong, I'm a Hindu, I can't say, oh, if you question me, you're questioning all Hindus. I'd like Aftab Ahmed Khan to come in on that. Aftab Saab, if a Hindu does something wrong, you cannot justify the illegality saying, if you question me, you are questioning all Hindus. Similarly, I'm sure you'll agree with me, Aftab ji, that if a Muslim does something wrong, it cannot be justified. Can I not have the noise? It cannot be justified on the argument that questioning a Muslim means questioning all Muslims or the Muslim religion. Aftab ji.
Mr. Goswami, who is telling that Hindus are wrong? And nobody is telling that Muslims are wrong. Tablighi Jamaat is 0.0001% of the total population of Muslims in India. If they have faltered anywhere, they should be punished. None of the Muslim organization has come forward to save them. They have committed wrong, they have to be punished. FIR has already been lodged against Maulana Saad. Take him into the custody. Who says that you don't take action against them?
Danish, what's your...
having a beard and a topi on his head, he's been considered as
This has nothing to do with beard and topis.
Out of proportion.
the streets of India, in many places.
No, sir. No, sir. Don't stereotype this country. I'll tell you why.
Sir, it is happening
Aftab Ahmed Khan, my question to you is...
This country is a great country. The country is a great country, my dear sir. You must be hardly 45 years of age. We have seen this country from 1947. This country has done a great job for all the communities. But there had been certain instances which happened in every country.
Come into the power. A man who is handling the home ministry of my country, he is having a criminal past background. A biggest state, Uttar Pradesh, a chief minister. Uttar Pradesh, Mr. Yogi is a criminal man.
You must see, I'm quoting you. I was not talking in terms
please
of
go on,
party.
Aftab ji.
I was not talking in terms of the party politics. But from 1947 till 2014, if you see the number of riots which had taken place in the regime of the Congress, you will be ashamed for. Don't blame any party. The riots are engineered, executed, researched and rehearsed. Don't say like that the rights are the latest issue or something like that. You ask the Google how many riots have taken place in India, under whose regime. You will find that all the riots, maximum riots have taken place under the regime of Congress. Therefore, I was not talking about BJP and Congress.
Yeah.
Forget about it.
Yeah. In fact, may I just wrap up today by saying this, that this is... Zafar ji wants to add something. Zafar, go on. Zafar, go on.
I think, Arnab, we need to move from Congress or BJP. India is a country of 1.3 billion. And majority of Hindus, large number, because they are secular and they are not communal at all. Otherwise, if that would have been the case, how would have just 15% Muslims lived in this country?
I agree with you.
We need to move away from parties and we need to take stock of the country.
I agree with you. Zafar,
we don't need any other country.
Zafar, the reason, Tanveer, remember this and say this everywhere. It's our responsibility. India is not Islamophobic. We are far from Islamophobic. We are, and everyone saw, we are the beacon of secularism, barring the fringe lobby. And all countries have the fringe lobby. Muslim leaders are calling out the Markaz, they are not Islamophobic. Markaz attendees are being treated for COVID. Those treating them are not Islamophobic. The Jamaat-e-Ulema-e-Hind condemned the Markaz event. Jamaat-e-Ulema-e-Hind is not Islamophobic. Muslim doctors are also spreading awareness. They are not Islamophobic. Muslims have performed the last rites of a Hindu neighbor whose family was stuck in the lockdown. Hindu Muslims have come together to feed the poor. And in Karnataka's Chikmagaluru, you should know about it, Tanveer. Hindus, Christians, Muslims joined hands to clean a temple premises during the lockdown. This is India. And my country is not Islamophobic. It is not Islamophobic. I challenge anyone to come into a debate with me and prove that it is. I thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me on the debate. This is a time for national unity. Tomorrow I'll bring you the latest updates on the COVID situation in great detail at 9. Good night and goodbye.